Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with Sandy Gunderson, who you may know from Talkin' Trash here on TV3. And we are standing at the composting site here out at the transfer station in Becker County. And we are going to talk about composting today.
Great subject.
Well, as you can see behind us, this is kind of extreme composting here. Lots of larger things being composted that people may not even realize.
This is actually the brush pile.
Okay.
And this, just over Carol's right shoulder here, we can show you that pile later, that's already mulched down, and so that actually could be composted. It's in small enough form where it would compost down fairly quickly. But behind us, this is in large form, and so that is that we mulch down, and then some of it gets composted, some of it actually gets sent and used for fuel.
Okay, so let's take a few steps back and actually talk about composting.
Not this way?
Not this way, real back.
Okay. So composting, it's something that we can all do in our own backyard. It doesn't have to be anything that you have to bring it out here. You can do it in your own backyard. Basically just taking things that nature made, leaves, grass, things in your garden, like leftover plants, tomatoes, veggies and fruits that you either have on your dining room table or from your garden that you don't want anymore, and you put it in the pile and let nature do its business. Let nature recycle.
Okay. All right. Now, of course, you kind of help it along, though, like pouring water or dirt on it or that sort of thing.
Well, adding to it, you need the browns and the greens. You need the nitrogen and the carbon in there. And so you need to add browns and greens, which would be, your grass, that kind of thing, and leaves, brown things. Those two things together with water and with air is the recycling process, is the composting process. So when you add the veggies and fruits, you're adding moisture to it. Sometimes you do have to add water to it, a hose, hook up a hose to it, or leave the lid off, or leave the bin open and let it rain in there, and then stirring. That's the magic thing. You gotta stir it. You gotta kind of aerate it and get things moving in there so all those little organisms can get in there and do their thing.
Okay. So what would you use to stir this?
A great big pitchfork.
A big spoon. Yeah. Right. Okay. So this, you actually, like you said, you mulch it down, or it decays somewhat, and then you actually do chip it. Do you use a wood chipper?
Yep. We bring someone in and they come in and chip it, and then we actually send it somewhere. They come in and chip it, and we send it to I believe it's down in southern Minnesota, and they use it for fuel.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not just something that we let sit there. We actually, it's a resource.
Oh, okay. All right. So do you actually sell it to those people down there, or?
Well, actually, I think what it is that we don't have to pay them to come chip it, but they take it for free, which is a good thing, because if we paid someone in it to come in to chip it, it's $20,000-$30,000. So
okay.
And because it's a resource, that's a great thing. And then also, if we composted it, if we used the mulch and just composted it, mixed it in with our compost pile, that's also a great thing too, because compost is a great resource.
So where do these big trees come from? This is just from the fine folks of Becker County and then some, or? It
is. It's Becker County residents can bring leaves or can bring the brush in for free. Businesses, if they have large, like dump truck loads, 10-yard loads, then we do charge them a minimal fee, just because it takes some work to move it around. But yeah, people can bring in. This is just residents that have brought it in over the year, and the pile gets kind of large.
Over the year?
Yeah, over the year. This has actually been chipped down in the last year or so. Okay. In our compost pile, which is over my left shoulder, and we'll show you that, that actually is over several years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm standing here with Sandy Gunderson out at the Becker County waste site, the transfer station area, and we are talking about composting here on Hometown Happenings today. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with Sandy Gunderson. We are out at the ultimate composting area out at the transfer station in Becker County off Highway 59, and we're talking about composting, and can you smell that aroma?
I think it smells like good, clean earth. We were just having a discussion, is it that or manure? I'm not sure. It's actually manure. There's a little pile back here that somehow made its way here. I'm not sure.
So we're standing now, before the break we were standing and we had lots of brush behind us, and now this is a different type of compost that we have behind us.
This is your basic yard waste, grass and leaves compost pile. That's behind us. Now, a couple layers back, you'll see it looks like just a bunch of weeds. That's actually a compost pile, and that's just been there quite a few years, and we haven't stirred it. But it's rich, great dirt, actually soil, I should say. No, it's not dirt. Fourth graders always correct me. It's not dirt. It's soil. And then you can see that this is fairly new, probably within the last week or so. And leaves, grass, hay.
Looks like weeds from the lake.
And weeds from the lake, yep. Those don't compost quite as quickly. But you can also see, which I think is great, is there's some things growing in the top. It looks like maybe some pumpkins or some squash growing.
Can I get my Halloween pumpkin?
You might be able to. This is great nutrition for a garden. So when you have your own compost pile in your yard or in the South 40, that's great to put on your garden, on your yard, around flowers. Compost is such a unique thing. They call it black gold, which I think is a really makes sense. It's a good label for it. It holds twice its weight in water when you're weighing it. So it's such a great beneficial thing. And so having it in your own garden. And what's great about it, if you have your own pile, you know exactly what you put in it. So you know exactly what's coming out at the other end after it's cooked down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wanted to start their own compost pile, what would you suggest, like if you lived in the city, say?
Well, it depends on if you want a bin or not. You could have just a regular pile. You can take 4 pallets and 4 or 5 pallets and make basically a square and dump the leaves and the grass. Basically, you need leaves and grass and water and air.
Okay.
Or the brown stuff and the green stuff. Depending on if your neighbors don't like looking at pallets, you can maybe use chicken wire and some fence posting. You can get a compost bin. You can order those online. There's depending on how you want to do it, what you want it to look like.
Okay.
But you can do it in town. You can do it out of town. You can do it in a pile. You don't need a bin specifically if you want to use a pile. It depends on if your neighbors are going to like the looks of it or not, or if you like the looks of it. You want it someplace close enough.
Or how well you like your neighbors.
Yes, there you go. If it's a tool for communicating with your neighbor, that's good. And your neighbor, I have a lot of people that tell me, yep, my neighbor and I do this together. This is like a joint community thing. So that's kind of great too.
So you're recycling the waste that can be recycled, and you're putting it back in the earth essentially. You can use it on your garden, depending on what kind of types of stuff you're composting, and you can put it on your yard in the fall.
Absolutely, and it's really nutritious soil.
Your house plants.
You can, and actually you can make compost tea too. You can take some compost. I know, isn't that great? Except don't drink it. Compost tea, and you put it in a container. And put a small bag, like a tea bag almost, in water, and make tea. It'll kind of leach the dirt
water
will
your
leach
plants.
in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's great. And of course, I worm compost. So
That's right. I do as well.
Yeah. Have
Thanks
worms
to
in your basement? Do you have them in your basement?
That's another hodgepodge.
Yeah,
that's another hometown happening.
It is. So anyway, there's lots of things that you can do with composting, but it's just a great thing to do.
All right.
For us, of course, in the solid waste office, it's to keep that junk out of the landfill.
Well, Sandy Gunderson, it's been lovely talking to you. We'll have to talk over tea and worms sometime.
There you go.
And with that, Sandy Gunderson, I'm Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings.